in Camden.
Today we are taking a look at everyday supernatural book. In fact, we're taking a look at chapter 9. So
Yeah, praying for healing. Mike Bellarci and Andy Croft are discussing the principles around why we pray for people to be healed and how we pray for people to be healed. It's a pretty interesting chapter.
it is, lots of good stories in there.
It's generated quite a lot of questions, actually.
Great.
Yeah, I've got Alfredo Alfresco from Year 10 in Camden High School. He's asking the question, Noah, I don't know if you can answer this. If God's so powerful, why doesn't he heal people himself? Why do we need to pray for people to heal if God's so amazing? I think that's basically the question.
Okay, yeah. Well, it kind of makes sense logistically, isn't it, for him to go straight in there, cut out the middleman, which is us, and just do DIY, do it yourself.
Or do it your way.
Couldn't do it without you. So I guess first response is that he loves us so much that he wants to use us in his amazing plan. And when he uses us in this amazing plan through all the gifts that he gives us, whether that's healing or prophetic words or whatever, we draw much, much closer to him in those moments. And Mike and Andy really want to put across that Jesus wants to be with us every single day of our lives. And through these moments of praying for people for healing, the power of God coming down, we draw closer and closer to him, which is an amazing experience.
And not only do we draw closer to him, we get closer to each other too by praying for people. So, I mean, if God just came down impersonally and just healed people in that way, it wouldn't be quite the same as having a friend coming to you and saying, could I pray for you? Or I can see that you're unhappy. Would you like me to pray for you? And that kind of closeness and intimacy that comes with the companionship of a friend. God really loves that. He loves the other person so much. He sent you to love them, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, that's so cool. Oh, we've got another one coming in
right.
on Twitter from Unicorns Forever 469, and they ask, what if I'm praying for somebody for them to be healed, but actually in the end nothing happens? Isn't that just going to be embarrassing for me, really?
Yeah, that's the fear for all of us, isn't it? I pray and nothing happens, but I think we might be getting mixed up with who's responsible for the healing there. And Mike comes up with quite a clever picture, doesn't he?
Yeah, it is. In chapter 9, he kind of says, imagine we are waiters and waitresses in a restaurant, and God is the head chef. And he kind of says, we would go to the customer, we'd ask what they'd like, and they might say, oh, my leg's really hurting. And we might say, oh, do you want that medium rare?
Fries with that, son?
And we then take that to the chef. But we are not there to cook the meal for them, to heal them. We're just there to take that between the chef and them. And when we come to it, we don't know whether it's going to be anything on the plate or whether it's going to be full with the food. We're not there to decide that.
Yeah, and I think the last part of that, Mike says, our responsibility to ask and pray, it's God's job to heal. And it's not a job we've given God, it's his job he's taken on himself. Isn't it? Fantastic. There's another question coming in here from Simone967. I'm always purple. Simone967, always purple, says, I've only been a Christian 10 minutes. Surely I'm not qualified to pray for healing.
Right, well firstly, congratulations, Christian, that's amazing.
Fantastic. Got a whole new life ahead of you, amazing.
So cool. And it's something that's asked quite a lot, I think. And my answer to that would be the same way that you were saved, Jesus died on the cross for you, and your salvation comes from that, not from what you've done, not from what you've earned. God has given you that freely. And in the same way, the spiritual gifts that he gives us, whether that's healing, prophetic words, speaking in tongues, they're not from our own efforts and our own struggles. We get them directly from God, and we're just putting our trust in him. So to answer your question, it doesn't matter whether you've been a Christian 1 minute or 50 years, God still loves you and wants to use you in the same way.
There was a good example in the book, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah. So Mike was saying that a good friend of his was going blind, and her eyesight deteriorated really rapidly. And she'd been to London, the doctors had said that she was going to go blind in a few months. But she stopped in at sort of our conference. Seems to be before she got to see Mike, some young people ambushed her and prayed for her. And almost immediately, her eyesight started getting better. And at the time the book was published, her eyesight was significantly better, and it should have completely been gone. And Mike was really irritated that these young people had prayed because he wanted to do it because he thought he was more qualified. And just saying, God, it doesn't matter who you are, just be available. That's all God. Just God still wants you to be compassionate and available.
And basically, you've got nothing to fear if you're a Christian God.
Sadly, now we've got to move into the next advertising schedule segment. So do apologise for that. But before we go, don't forget chapter 9, praying for healing. We're going to be talking about it and maybe even doing some prayer at Cell on Friday night. Sounds exciting.
See you there, guys.
All the best.
See you later.
Good morning, Camden.